Good evening. Politics proper has started. We are 7 months into it and all indications are pointing to a highly contested event on the 8th of August later this year.
Well, with so much happening in the country, state of the economy, crazy levels of corruption, deterioration of healthcare system, industrial action threats, there is plenty on our plates.
Question is, what is the talking point and where is the turning point? Glad you did ask that. That's why we are here. Good evening, I'm Dennis Onsarigo and this is News Sources.
And I'm James Smart. Let's get started with what you're on about tonight on this program.
Hiyo kazi yote akaiharibu kwa sababu alisponsiwa na wazungu akuje agawanye kura za Central.
It's now very clear and I made it absolutely clear that I'm running for the position of governor in Nairobi.
We've seen today a very long convoy of trucks standing around, people asking, what is the problem?
Well, all that in a moment, but we start right here. The Jubilee Party has launched a membership smart card that is designed to help in member recruitment. Jubilee says the card will see to mobilize more members using quicker, faster and effective means. However, it is the idea that it enables the smart card and an IBC platform that is aligned with it to drive voters that is now raising questions. Let's take a listen, then we discuss this.
Hatuna rais katika ukumbi huu. Leo hii hatuna makamu wa rais. Leo hii hatuna wajumbe. Leo hii hatuna magavana. Hatuna maseneta. Hatuna ma MCA. Leo hii tuko wana Jubilee ambao wanaenda kuuza chama chao kwa Wakenya.
Well, and that is candidate Uhuru Kenyatta speaking there on Friday. Dennis Onsarigo, host of the program, Ramadan Rajab, Wahome Dhuku, and Rosina Bala. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are, launching of a smart card. Another first or just the usual normal, Dennis?
It's a smart move from Jubilee, if you ask me. And Jubilee has a way of doing things and razzmatazz, as it was, smart. And
it gets something.
It's a good move. It's a good move from Jubilee.
Wahome, what do you understand about this smart card? The question that we need to get into is the fact that the questions that are coming out of it is that it's aligned and it's sort of linked with the IBC database. And there raises the question of where is the independence? Where does it stop, Jubilee from accessing the register? Is it a problem? Should any other party come up with their own smart card or something like that? Would they be allowed to happen?
Okay, first, I would like to support what Dennis has just said. It's a good move to start a smart card. It may even make some of us who love these kind of things to even want to register more. That is those who are members of this party. Coming to what you're asking about aligning this card with statistics or the figures in IEBC, I have heard that, people saying that, well, it's connected to, it's a kind of a pre-rigging arrangement. The question I've been having is, what is the purpose of being a member of a party if you are not registered as a voter? Because you may have quite a number of members, 1 million, 2 million, yet out of those 2 million, only 400,000 are registered voters. Okay? So I think what Jubilee would want to do by this connection is to monitor how many of us are members of Jubilee and how many of us are in the voters register. That way then you're able to know going forward what are you doing? How many people have registered with us? How many have registered as voters? What do we expect? How many voters do we expect? How many of them will vote for us? Yeah. That kind of arrangement is what I think.
Rosalind, all that is well and good, but coming back to 2013, where there were talks that the Jubilee Party had their own servers as well, aligned with IEBC and all these talks, they've always been there, and this is raising the same conversation. So pre-rigging, is it just good politics, smart politics? Where does this leave us?
Okay, smart. According to Jubilee, this is smart politics, and they've always said that this is a digital government, so everything they do is digital. So what we expect maybe this, because remember the president was saying that this card will be used during nominations, and Jubilee has been on the forefront telling IBC that they will be the team to handle their nominations. So we don't know if this is going to be a test measure for the party on how many people they have and how many people are in the database of IBC for them to head with it to the elections.
Robert, then?
I think the Jubilee Smart Card is a good thing first, because it will bring an end to this fuss we see during nominations, where it's a free fall for everyone. Like today, if Jubilee Nairobi branch is holding an election, a nomination, everyone goes and queues, even if you're not a member of Jubilee. You queue for your guy and does it. But with the card, it will identify you as a member. It's one way of getting membership. But now the problem is linking it to IBC database at this moment. And IBC has not explained how this will function. It breeds contempt across other stakeholders, because IBC is not holding elections only for Jubilee. It's holding elections even for small parties like TipTip. So TipTip should be involved and know exactly which database is this smart card being linked to. But it's also contradictory. This is the Jubilee government that has been saying we don't want these digital things. We want the manual backup. I don't know what's the manual backup for this smart card. They should at least show us. What's the manual backup for this smart card? It has a chip. You see, it has a chip.
The manual backup would be the IBC statistics. Okay, that's it. So they have a card. The manual backup is the backup in IBC. IBC will be having the electronic voter register and a manual one. So these are actually a backup.
But if Rajab, if I remember very well, the election laws that were proposed before they were amended in Parliament, there was a provision that results being transmitted from location will go through party headquarters as they hit, of course, the IBC servers. With this launch of this card, I mean, where does this leave the rest of the people?
What about, I'm not getting what people are reading out of this card, because this is one way of monitoring their own members, okay? Getting to know how many members they have. Now, how you link up with IBC is just the same way we have other links.
The big problem is you have not made, IBC itself has not come out to explain how this will work. IBC is not holding these elections, or is not holding this register for Jubilee. It's holding the register for every other political party. So, and this card, it has a chip, which means digital,
Yes.
When you use it, it clicks. It's computer controlled.
There are so many.
So for you to tell us that
there are so many electronic forums that are linked
in
to the IBC.
In 30 seconds or less.
There are so many. So these days, so many people will send you SMSs, asking you to vote for them. The source of those SMSs or the source of those numbers and information is actually the IBC record, if you have not known that. And so this is not the first time that you have somebody linking up this to the IBC.
So then
gentlemen, we need to move on. We need to move on, Rajab. Well, and that was the easiest part, the launching of a smart card. Jubilee in-house politics, as predicted, has been bubbling under, and you cannot put a lid on it anymore. It seems Kiambu Governor William Kabogo had an exchange of words with his likely challenger, Ferdinand Waititu. It all started with allegations from the MP that the Kiambu governor is corrupt and the man is robbing the people of Kiambu. Let's listen in. I'm told there's no sound from that end, but smart. I mean, between Kabogo and Ferdinand Waititu?
I think to set the stage, we've always known that Ferdinand Waititu is always going to be a challenger to, William Kabogo. The question has always been, what sort of issues will Ferdinand Waititu stand on to sort of start that, the pushback for Kabogo? And it's very clear that one of the things that he's trying to put together is, questions of accountability and corruption and that sort of thing. And those things have been so important to people of Kiambu, who have always thought and said that, hang on, we don't feel that our resources are being spent either well or prudently. And actually seems to be, aligning or pivoting, as Americans would say, towards that.
Wahome, there is so much noise around Ferdinand Waititu as a candidate, and there's so much calmness around the Kiambu governor as the incumbent. I mean,
yes, because Kabogo is already on the seat. Okay, this Waititu is a man who has come from Nairobi, having done all the drama in Nairobi, and he has won a parliamentary seat in Kiambu. Now, the victory in Kiambu in Kabete was meant to show that, wait, I am coming to take over your seat. That is what, now these are two gentlemen who know that their might, their political weight is almost as equal. And especially with their relationship to the president. Both Kafogo and Waititu are very close to the president. So between now and the time that for the nominations, because we said at some point in time, we'll have to break. We'll have to know whether it is one or the other. And there are many other candidates in Kiambu, by the way. But for these two, we'll have to know who is who at the nominations.
Rajab, this man, Waititu, as noisy as he is, this man was even barred from running for office by the High Court, I guess, some time back. I mean, why can't Jubilee choose a candidate who can be voted for instead of choosing noise?
I think they just want Kabogo to be back after in 2017, because I don't think if Waititu can mount a campaign strategy that can really defeat Kabogo at the moment. In fact, Kabogo has so many other hidden tools to use to deal with this man. We have not finished with his academic credentials, you know that. And Kabogo is using it. And this is something which is in the courts. But these allegations about corruption, these are public gallery talk. So even Waititu is pinned down to say, what has this man misappropriated as a governor? He will not point at it. So, and Wahome is saying that these guys have almost equal political might is a fallacy, is a lie.
Is it a fallacy to you,
Waititu to Kabogo. Waititu can't even manage now. If he comes back to run for MP in the city, he will not manage it. He managed that seat because it was a by-election. By-election, anyone can win. So to mount a campaign for governor, it will be a difficult thing.
I think just to pick from what Rajab is saying, I think this fight between Kabogo and Waititu is a media thing. Because remember, there was so much cloud around Waititu when he was seeking the Kabete seat, which almost died immediately after he was elected the MP. And if you remember, going by the words of the president during the launch, he said very well, for now, there is no candidate. What we want now is to get members to register. And I think at the tail end of his speech, he also talked about rewarding people who are going to bring in members. So because of this, I think it's just too early to see that this is going to be a two-horse race.
All right. Okay, Rosalind saying this is a media battle, but meanwhile, the fight for the governorship ticket on Jubilee Party took a nasty turn this week. First, former Gatanga MP and presidential aspirant in 2013, Peter Kenneth, has officially announced his entry into the governorship race here in Nairobi. This has incensed the other camp led by Senator Mike Sonko, MP Dennis Waweru, and nominated MPs Johnston Sakaja. They made their raw feelings known. Take a listen.
Ndugu yetu kutoka hapa Murang'a aliyekuwa mbunge wa Gatanga, ambaye kuna wakati alifanya kazi mzuri Gatanga CDF, lakini hiyo kazi yote akaiharibu kwa sababu alisponsiwa na wazungu akuje agawanye kura za Central, aangushe ati Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Na akitembea alikuwa anasema Uhuru aende Hague, anyongwe, afungwe. Juzi ameniita ananiambia, Sonko, ile pesa ya wazungu ambayo bado wako nayo, acha nipatie bilioni 1 niwache wananchi wa Nairobi nimuuzie kiti. Kama hiyo 1 billion ako nayo, akuje hapa nyumbani Murang'a asaidie wananchi wa Murang'a. Sonko ataki pesa.
And that was said with a straight face. Rosalind, what do you make of this?
I think this is turning a bit nasty with Nairobi because everybody is trying to get the votes from Nairobi. Remember, in Jubilee House, Nairobi seat has become very crowded. Everybody is there and wants to be elected. I think when Sonko went down to say that Peter Kenneth even tried to bribe him, people have known Sonko to be somebody who keeps evidence. We expected him to give us a telephone conversation or something between him and Peter Kenneth to show that indeed he had been approached to step down. And this is just to show that maybe the candidates who have been there in the past are afraid of Peter Kenneth coming in because they're seeing Peter Kenneth might end up to be the candidate. But you have also seen this thing going into the race where he's being viewed as an outsider, not one of them in terms of his skin color. We're also seeing the particulars coming in, qualifications, which even the people who are accusing him, I don't know if all of them have papers. So I think Jubilee, it will be a bit... Yes, it will be very difficult.
There's a tyranny of problem in Jubilee.
Let me see this. Why Sonko and his group decided to go to Murang'a, and it's just for the guesses, because he knows that that is where the bulk of his votes, even in Nairobi, would come. Now, having said that, this morning I listened to them again, Sonko saying that, no, it was Sonko and Sakaja saying that Honorable Shebe should be sent by Uhuru to them, asking them to step down. Now, I almost believe that is what is happening. I think, in my back thoughts, that the president would really not want Sonko as the governor of Nairobi. I don't know. I think I share that feeling with the president. And I'm very sure that is what the president thinks. Given between Sonko and Peter Kenneth, even if you are the president of this country, certainly you would choose the man who looks like he can manage something at the end of the day.
But you know, last time when there were 2012-2013 elections, you know what caused Jubilee? You didn't have a candidate worth standing up to Kidero and defeating him. So this time round, I know they have learned a lesson. So ideally, a governor of Nairobi is a chief executive. You need someone who looks like, who speaks like, who walks like a chief executive to represent you in the capital city.
Isn't that what we have currently?
Yes, but now Jubilee, once this they want to control it.
No, let's not bring Kidero.
Sorry,
at
the moment,
I don't know.
At the moment, Jubilee wants this.
But look,
and it has a crowded field, and these are people who bring votes, like Sonko brings votes for the president. But he wants someone who will look like, and someone who can stand up and...
Smart, very simple. Two things. One, Peter Kenneth is in this race for Nairobi governorship because of 2022 politics. I think the system has decided this man must run for president in 2022. So what you do raises stakes in the city. So if you listen to Sonko, and then you listen to Kithure Kindiki, famously of the Sky Team Partners, and you know who calls the piper, I mean, it's black and white. These individuals will be told to step down. As Waume said, if the system decides Peter Kenneth must run for president in 2022, then they must give him some work to do.
Exactly.
And that work is becoming a Nairobi governor in 2017.
And
in
fact,
where's Eugene Omalo in
I
this?
don't agree.
Fair enough. And if this man,
yes.
if he decides to run for president in 2022, so be it. That's very good enough. For now, we know that he is the only person who can come up with some policies of a way of managing this city. You see, the other problem with these guys is that they all what they know is how to tell us Peter Kenneth did. Peter Kenneth may stand up and tell us Sonko did, or he didn't, or whoever else did. What they are not telling Nairobians is how different will they do it.
Nothing
different
else.
From Kidero.
They don't have to do anything else because there's nothing Kidero has done for Nairobi City.
Good,
so there's nothing left to do.
let them
But
say
listen to me, gentlemen and lady. There's something you must understand. That Peter Kenneth has delivered as Gatanga Member of Parliament in the past. He's delivered as the Assistant Minister for, I guess, Transport. Or planning and transport.
So are we endorsing
and
him
Peter
here
Kenneth was behind the construction of the Thika Highway, so you know.
Yes.
That's a brilliant young man. And he has a name, and he has a face. We don't vote for faces, because Kalonzo tried it and he failed. But as it stands now, this is the first time in the history of this country where you find candidates competing for the same seat, campaigning together. There's a script here. I mean, wake up and smell the coffee. Peter Kenneth it is. Smart.
I mean, I'm interested to make a point, but the question I think that, and we're also asking, you know, on Twitter tonight who you're going to vote for. You know, Peter Kenneth, there's Senator Mike Sonko, and there's also Dennis Waweru, and of course Miguna Migura. The poll is running currently. You can always tweet us at KTN Kenya, at Dennis, at Onsarigo, at the Onsarigo, at KTN News, and hashtag news sources. Your thoughts very quickly.
Yeah, I think we are thinking so much for the system. in courts, we keep on saying that the system wants Peter Kenneth. Remember, it has taken a long time for even Peter Kenneth to come out and say that he will contest in Nairobi. Remember, we started discussing about Peter Kenneth last year. There are these people who have been in this race longer than that. So again, before the system imposes Peter Kenneth on Nairobi residents, they also have to do their homework. There are also these other people. Dennis Waweru is equally a CEO.
They will go nowhere.
Write him out?
They will go nowhere.
No,
If the party decides,
let's put it this
if
way.
the president decides that Peter Kenneth
Let's
is Peter
say
Kenneth.
we have just talked about smart cards and registration of members of this party. Let the gentlemen go for nominations. For the first time, members of Jubilee party are going to, and maybe even other parties, are going to take part in nominations.
Hold your
They will
horses
set up,
for a second.
they'll sort
The
out
entry of
this.
Peter Kenneth into Nairobi governor's race has been a long time coming affair. Proponents of PK's ticket say the credentials should make him an easy sell to Nairobians. His opponents first call him an outsider who has no idea what the people of Nairobi need and want. So what way Peter Kenneth, the man of 2S, make? Listen to him.
It's now very clear, and I've made it absolutely clear, that I'm running for the position of governor in Nairobi. But the most important thing now is to ensure every unregistered person in our country registers to be a voter.
Smart. Look at the demeanor of this man, Peter Kenneth, and look at the people flanking him. I mean, the former Makadara member of parliament, Maina Kamanda, and Rachel Shebes. These are the nearest you can get to power in this city. I mean, these people are in the right side of history.
I accept. I mean, the power brokers, Makadara MP, Rachel Shebesh, and all these people who have managed to somehow meet the business folks in this town, and sort of represent the inner, what would call the inner cities or inner towns in this city. So they somehow know where Nairobi is, and perhaps PK, his opponents might be right that he might not be the best person who would go to, say, Kibera and be feeling and look like belongs there. But these people will, and they'll do the heavy lifting for him. So he doesn't have to do that. They will do it for him.
But I think I doubt that saying that Peter Kenneth is an outsider, because this guy has been born in Bahati here, and he understands the city politics somehow, and he's intelligent enough. But
the level between him and Sonko, I mean, that's what they're trying to put him on the scale of him and Sonko.
Let me finish my statement. It seems there's a powerful force behind him. When he lost the general election, the Twitter election that he had last time, he went missing. And when the rumors started coming in or streaming in saying he's going for governor, sometimes even when you ask him, he could deny. But now he's saying he's governor, meaning he was waiting for remote control from somewhere to tell him now this is the time.
And that's not a
Rosalind, walk with me. Walk with me.
Yes.
These individuals will sit down, and all of them will show up one day and say, after consultations, we decided to support Peter Kenneth. Do you think this man cannot fly the flag of Jubilee Nairobi?
I agree with you, he can fly the flag, but we are saying that the powerful people behind him, Shebesh and Maina Kamanda, I don't think so. I don't think so. There are people who play behind the scenes. The business people, you can't say that the faces are the two. And I'm not sure that when we see the two, it's exactly the position of the president. Maybe the president has somebody else. Maybe this is just a play so that they can have somebody else. You never know. Because remember, the president has maintained it over and over that I don't have a preferred candidate. I have one vote, my deputy has one vote. Let you people go and look for. But again, look at it. We have, if Uhuru goes for the presidency as a Kikuyu, will you think you will want a governor who is also from the same place?
Why not? Raila Odinga went for president as Aluo, and Kidero ran for Nairobi governors.
That was
Good for the goose,
2013.
good for the gander.
That was 2013.
The president has
And Peter Kenneth is not even Kikuyu, is he?
The president has a choice. Don't say the president has picked no one. He has picked this man. And if you look at the people behind him, these are what you'd call the Muranga in Nairobi. Maina Kamanda is always known to say we are the Muranga people who have wealth in Nairobi, okay? These are the people who are going to run this show for him. And coming from outside, I don't know what people mean by outsider. I was born in Nairobi, but the following day I was taken to Central.
You are an outsider. You are an outsider. We can tell you that for a fact here.
So what I'm saying is, at the outsider tag, most of the people in Nairobi here outsiders. Some of them are outsiders during the day. At night, they are outsiders during the day. They come here, they go back home in the evening. So, and we have been having campaigns, especially in central area, for people to come and register here.
Hang on to that thought. Hang on to that thought, Wahome, because we need to take a break. But we're asking you on Twitter, and it's about a minute left. Who would you vote for as a Nairobi governor? 1,001 votes are in. 2 minutes left. Peter Kenneth is leading that poll. So, yeah.
The Twitter candidate.
Twitter candidate.